Hello, hello, good evening, good morning to everybody from whichever part of the world you are from. Hope everyone's doing all right. This is Young Reach Capital coming to you live. We are looking at the Bitcoin chart right now, and we are seeing some lovely bullish momentum in the market. The the momentum on the market had started yesterday, as I had marked out some levels potentially where BTC could have retraced into, but we didn't get a complete retracement into this zone right here. Let me just get rid of this VWAP for now. We are looking pretty good on Bitcoin right now. This is a really awesome trend that is forming. On all time frames, we are bullish. We have broken past the monthly range high of April 1st, right here, which is the price tag of $88,400. We will start finding some resistance at this zone where we are at right now, because these prices have not been tapped into for over a month, actually over 2 months. So there will be some potential resistance in these areas. So be aware and start looking to take some profits if anybody has entered into some long positions out here or anywhere before this pump started. There were potentially a bunch of accumulations happening in this consolidation area past 10 days or so, and we did see a beautiful breakout of about 5%, and we did target this range high right here. And as I mentioned yesterday on the live stream, and we did take a lovely scalp yesterday, which was a beautiful short trade on Bitcoin, which hit the TP quite fast, if I might say so. You can go back into yesterday's live stream and take a look. So, what are we seeing right now is we are seeing potential breakout of yesterday's range high rejection. So this is what happened yesterday. So we broke out of this consolidation, essentially. This whole zone, this region of consolidation was broken through, and we did get a pretty cool move of about 3.5%, which essentially provided some relief for the altcoins to take a good move to the upside. At the same time, Ethereum has been doing quite well as in the past 24 hours. I'm going to get to Ethereum in just a moment. Let me just go through Bitcoin and see what it's going to be doing. So, as I was saying, we did get rejected at this range high, which was the monthly range high of April at about 88,000. So, we have broken through this range high right here. So, this was a beautiful breakout just an hour before New York opened. We had this lovely, lovely breach of this range high for a good 3% to the upside. That's about a 2,600 point move to the upside. And looks like we are still pumping and we are still looking at some potential bullish momentum. But let me make it very clear that Bitcoin is at overbought levels. We are currently at overbought levels, which is an alarming sign. It is a warning, absolutely something to take note of. We are at overbought levels, so Bitcoin has definitely reached a point of exhaustion, for we are at $90,000 ever since we hit a local range low of about 83,000, $84,000. So this is quite the move up, no doubt. But just be aware of the market at this resistance zone, because we are looking at tapping into these levels, as I mentioned, the 91,000, 94,000 level. At the same time, if I have to measure in some potential Fibonacci levels, we are looking at something like this. We are currently at the golden pocket zone. So this is another cause for being aware of the fact that we might get rejected here and start to trade sideways, face some rejection, face some resistance. So it might be suggestible and ideal to take some profits here and stay risk off on any trades that are potentially running in your portfolio. So I'm going to put in a price tag at this Fibonacci level, 91,937. So it's not an exact value. Let's say this is a zone. So anywhere between 88,000 and 91,000, these two zones would be a rejection area for Bitcoin and a high supply zone. So what that means is this area is going to act as major resistance for Bitcoin. Until proven otherwise, of course, there might be something that the chart is not able to tell us, where there might be some manipulation event, or there might be some bullish news that comes into play. All of that can contribute to a potential squeeze of short players and trade all the way up to all-time highs, which honestly is unlikely at the moment, because for Bitcoin to have a move back to the upside all the way to all-time highs, we are going to have to break through these prices first and foremost. We have broken through this at the moment. So we are going to have to break through all of these prices that have been marked out on the chart. And then, of course, we have this, we have these resistance zones, and the all-time resistance of the all-time high. So it's going to be difficult for Bitcoin to just randomly pump all the way to all-time highs from here. It's going to have to cool off for a bit, because we are starting to get oversold on the RSI as well. So as you can clearly see, we started taking support when Bitcoin reached an area of overbought, oversold. My apologies. When Bitcoin reached the oversold levels right here, now we are reaching overbought levels. We still have a little bit more space to enter into the overbought zone. So Bitcoin can rally a little more into these zones, essentially. Um, just bring this price line back, all right. get rid of all of these things. And let me keep a clean chart so that I'm not distracted by unnecessary markings on the chart. There we go. So if you see, it is clearly indicating that the market has taken a break of structure right here. This, what would be called as a break in structure. The market has broken through a major resistance zone. This technically is considered as Bitcoin's local resistance zone in the past 2 months or so. So we have broken through this, and then what I'm expecting Bitcoin to do is it would take support out here. So once we start cooling off on Bitcoin, we are going to start taking support in this region. Then hopefully get a move all the way up into these highs right here. And this would be our final price to break out of, to then look for some potential bullish momentum to form, because this price of 94,000, essentially anywhere between 94,000 and 95,000, is going to be Bitcoin's most major resistance zone. So let me get rid of all of these prices. Essentially, this is something that, let me change this color to yellow so we know what that means. So essentially, this yellow price is telling us that it is in the golden, that's the price of the golden pocket, essentially. And this price right here is going to be Bitcoin's toughest challenge to get past on the higher time frame. Okay, let me keep this in white as well. So there we go. This price right here, 94,800. So for Bitcoin to have these prices play out, it's gonna have to cool off first and foremost. We're gonna have to start cooling off, taking it slightly slower than what the market is trying to show right now, because the market is absolutely bullish, no doubt. So there's going to be a lot of retail investors getting excited by this price action, and going to start aping in some longs in here. What that's going to do essentially is going to create some unnecessary potential long squeezes that could happen out in these zones, because we are absolutely in a premium zone, right? As I mentioned yesterday, we do not take longs in premium zones. Premium zones are for taking short positions. Discount zones, on the other hand, is for taking long positions. The price at this very moment is sitting at a premium. So why would you want to buy anything at a premium when you have an opportunity to purchase something at a discounted price, right? Or at least at a fair value price. Even if you don't get a discounted price, you will absolutely get a fair value price. And the market, time and time again, I'm going to keep repeating this all throughout my time on live streams, is the fact that the price will always come back to an area of fair value, even during extreme euphoric stages. For example, this very moment we are at a space of euphoria, right? This entire move has been a move of euphoria. We are at extreme euphoria, so we're going to, the greed, fear and greed index is going to be at extreme greed right now. Let's take a look. No, not really. We are still kind of coming out of an extreme fear zone, so that's not bad at all. pretty good actually. There's a lot of way for the market to now slowly move into. So looks like we are slowly coming back into the neutral zone, which is not bad. Honestly, I thought that this move would start creating some extreme greed, but that looks like that's the case only in the short term. So you see the all-time chart, crypto fear greed index. We are at the moment kind of coming back into the neutral territory. So what's going on with the market right now is we still have some potential opportunity to place some bids on Bitcoin to take it into the long side. But as I said, we are reaching a zone of resistance, no doubt. This entire zone is going to be a resistance zone for Bitcoin. Even though we are looking bullish, please take note that we are reaching a zone of resistance. The market is slowly starting to become overbought, but we still have a ways to go for the market to tap into these overbought zones. And of course, we are going to start creating some divergences out here, some bearish divergences, which is highly likely. So Bitcoin might continue to kind of rip into these zones. The likely scenario right now is what I'm looking at is there's going to be some potential short squeezes going to happen in the upcoming days. Bitcoin will rally into these levels of 94,000, and then we might get a sweep of this level right here, and then it might start tanking back into this range low of 83,000. So this 83,000 is going to be a key level, right? Let me just put that into neutral color. Great. So we are looking at Bitcoin to do something like this. Of course, this this doodle that I have just drawn is just a placeholder. It's not going to do exactly this. What I'm looking forward to the market doing is essentially just tapping into the liquidity of this zone, of this level, take this liquidity and then kind of come back down. That's the plan, essentially. For Bitcoin to move all the way up, it's going to have to cool down. It's going to have to grab some liquidity out here. Down in these levels, there's a lot of liquidity sitting, right? So for the market to kind of stay balanced and move in a trade friendly way, it's going to have to come back to these levels of 83,000, 84,000, and probably even 80,000, 79,000 potentially. So that's the potential move on Bitcoin at the moment. And of course, we have broken through these major trend line rejections on BTC right here, right here, right here, and here, and here. We have finally broken through. So that's an that's another bullish scenario for you right there, where the market is looking forward to turn into a bullish momentum right away. It already has completed its accumulation stage right here. This entire zone, ever since March, has been accumulating. So this entire zone was distribution, accumulation, and we're going to manipulate the price. And then, it remains to be seen what happens. But in the short term, yeah, we have accumulated some good buy orders here for Bitcoin, essentially. So Yeah, we are looking good on Bitcoin on the higher time frame. Now, let's see if there's a potential scalp opportunity on Bitcoin, and if anybody is interested in taking this, we can look for some potential trades right here. Just give me a moment. All right. So, what are we looking at on the 5 minute chart of BTC Bitcoin? It's 22nd April 2025. We are looking super bullish on Bitcoin, and I am liking this price action, no doubt. I am actually loving this price action. I ended up taking a long on Ethereum today in the morning and was successful. I just booked profits on Ethereum all the way. I took this move in the morning, which was London Open. Just around London Open is when I took a long into Ethereum. So I'm going to get to Ethereum in just a moment. Take a look at it. Super bullish as well. So what's happening with Bitcoin on the lower time frame right now is we are going to start cooling off a bit. We're going to potentially come in to test this trend line right here. So in the meantime, we can look to take a potential short somewhere in this zone and target this Fibonacci level right here. Could look to target this zone right here all the way from here, and then we might go up, or we might get a breakdown as well. Anything is possible, but let's just wait for the price to do its thing, come into these levels. Till then, I'm going to stay off the market. I'm not going to be trading because I'm already done with my trades for the day. I've completed my trading for today, so I'm not going to be doing anything. I'm just going to be an observer right now. Honestly, I don't think there is a trade right now on Bitcoin. It's better to just stay off the market and take it easy. Just watch what it does. All right, let me get to Ethereum. What's happening with Ethereum right now is Ethereum looks way too crazy to do anything right now. So it's better we just stay out of Ethereum as well. We go to the daily time frame on Ethereum. So this is what I wanted to point out to every single person. This is going to be a macro analysis and a top-down analysis on Ethereum essentially. Let me go through the potential moves on Ethereum. What we are looking at is the daily chart, and Ethereum is finally looking bullish after a really, really long time. Ever since December of 2024, we have been in a massive downtrend that has been worth 66%, give or take. Ethereum has been extremely bearish. There have been a lot of manipulations on Ethereum. There have been many attempts to break out as well. There have been so many attempts to keep the price afloat, but unfortunately, we had a breakdown of a key level which was 2400 and 2000. Essentially, the 2000 level was breached in February, essentially the beginning of March. So ever since then, we have been in a massive downtrend, and the price hasn't been able to come back up. There hasn't been much momentum. Ethereum has been chopping up a lot. But what I wanted to point out today on this analysis of Ethereum essentially is the fact that we are now breaking out of a macro trend line on the daily chart. So if you look at this, Ethereum is finally showing some potential bullish momentum, right? But it's not over yet. The bears are still in control. We have some potential key levels on Ethereum right here. So this zone is going to be a massive resistance zone for Ethereum. Essentially the 2000 zone, which was Ethereum's 2024 bear market support area, and also an accumulation zone for Ethereum, has now turned into a resistance zone. So the bears are absolutely still in control, but at the same time, we are now finally starting to get a breath of fresh air into Ethereum with the price action looking optimistic after a very long time. That's something that I would like to say that that's good about Ethereum right now is we are seeing some potential bullish momentum forming. So we can still look for some potential trades all the way into these zones, and then we'll play it by ear as and when the price reaches these levels. So I'm going to place some potential price call outs right here. This is going to be an extremely key level, extremely high confluence level for Ethereum. This price right here, $2,078. Essentially, this price that you're seeing is going to be Ethereum's massive resistance right here. So be prepared to play Ethereum based on these key levels, because this is one of Ethereum's major support zones turned into resistance now. Now this is going to play as a resistance, as we're already seeing that Ethereum has tapped into this level and got rejected, moved back down, and I'm absolutely certain that it's going to happen again at this level. So we're going to end up doing that a couple more times until we finally get some good conviction to break through. So be prepared for some consolidation within this range. And as always, there are many possibilities, many opportunities for the price to do things that the chart may not suggest. For example, a bullish news event or a manipulated situation where there is some random buyers coming into the market which neither the news nor the chart was able to suggest. But regardless of all of these external situation, um, external suggestions that, or external manipulations, whatever you want to call it, right? The market is still going to follow the macro chart. And what I would say for Ethereum is I would look for a target to the upside of $3,314.52. So essentially $3,300. We're going to be looking to tap into this Fibonacci golden pocket, right? If you're looking for a hyper bullish scenario on Ethereum, this could be something, or this could be something as well. This could be something, this could be something where we, get into these zones potentially, sure, absolutely. Or at the same time, since we are so close to our all-time low of $800, right? Ethereum Sorry, my apologies. The 2022 bear market low of $800 right here. Of course, Ethereum has been trading way lower than that in 2020 and stuff. So this is going to be our major support zone right here on Ethereum. So the 800 level is going to be a super key level. I'm going to mark that out as well. So we have to be prepared for all contingencies, whether it's to the upside or to the downside, right? So I'm going to place a call out right here as well. Essentially $900. So these three levels are going to be key for Ethereum in the long term, in the upcoming months. So keep an eye out for these levels and trade accordingly. So we still have some potential resistance with this trend line as well, and this key level of $2,000. So until we break through this and we flip this level, we are still going to be within a range. This high and this low is going to act up as our range high and range low. So, not to put anybody off, we are still absolutely looking optimistic in the market, but these are just some potential indicators that the chart is providing on the higher time frame for Ethereum. So just be mindful of these prices that I've marked out and these potential scenarios that we might get rejected at this trend line and at this price. So till then, we can absolutely look for some potential short-term opportunities on Ethereum, where let me get rid of this, right? So I'm going to mark this out in yellow just to be clear that it is a Fibonacci move, right? Perfect. There we go. So until then, so we are looking at the 1 hour time frame. We have seen a beautiful break of this long-term trend line. So in the meantime, we will be looking to target this liquidity here, here, and here. So that's going to give us a move of about 26%, 25% all the way to this range high. So mark this out and say key level right here. Perfect. So this is what it's going to be after. Ethereum is going to look for some potential upside all the way to the 2000 level, and then the price action remains to be seen. Once we reach these key levels, we'll see where it wants to go, and we'll play the market accordingly when it reaches these key levels. Until then, I would say we are absolutely bullish. We are in an uptrend. We are looking at some potential bullish divergence as well on Ethereum. So if we take a look at the RSI on the 1 hour time frame, this is what is known as a classic bullish divergence, where the price was making lower lows and the RSI was making higher lows right here, right here, right here, and right here. Right, so that's what's known as a bullish divergence. So this is what the market has been indicating ever since 7th April. That's almost 2 weeks now. So, and since then, Ethereum has rallied about 18%. Of course, nothing close to what Bitcoin has done since 7th April, even though Bitcoin had a similar scenario with a bullish divergence and equal lows essentially. Ethereum finally has started taking initiative on the bullish side. So, what I would say is watch out for these key levels. We are finally breaking out of a local range as well, right here. This was considered the local range of Ethereum. So if I'm going to have to place a potential opportunity for bids on Ethereum for a long, I would consider looking at this level right here. Let me make it a bit simpler for Ethereum's bids would be this level right here. So this is one scenario where we could look for price to come into and then move back up. Or if we have great support coming in this zone, we might look to target this high right here. So what I will say is that we have a breach of structure right here to the bullish side. So we'll place a block right here. I'm going to go into the 15-minute chart, and there we go. This is indicating potential shift in momentum. So what I'm going to do is this is going to be our next area of retracement on Ethereum, right? So we could look to take a long, place our stop loss just below this low right here, and we can look to target this high. That would give us a 3-hour trade. But please stay in this trade with minimal capital. Don't go all in with this. I wouldn't suggest that. This is a trade that I would take with a low capital and essentially look to place much higher bids into Ethereum with a much bigger capital in these levels, because we do have much better confluence at these levels on Ethereum rather than this level, because this level is slightly flimsy in comparison to this level, even though there is some good confluence of a structure break and a breaker block situation, and there are many reasons to be bullish in this region. But as we very well know that the price doesn't always respect these key levels and tends to kind of break down. So please be aware of such a scenario happening where we might target these levels. At the same time, at the moment, it remains to be seen until we break below this level. We are absolutely bullish and we're going to consistently stay within this zone and go into target this high right here, which is an additional 10% from here. So that's what I would be looking forward to doing. If Ethereum continues to stay bullish, we will be looking to target this level of $2,000, which is going to be the ultimate resistance for Ethereum in the medium to short term. You can say that as long as BTC continues to stay stable and bullish as well. So this is what I'm looking at for Ethereum. These are some potential. Let me mark out the potential levels right here. This is going to be a key level for Ethereum. So that's how I like to trade. When it comes into these key levels, I'd like to start looking for some potential momentum shifts, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. Since we are at a potential resistance and supply zone, essentially, I'll be looking to take a short on Ethereum rather than a long. But since we are seeing some bearish exhaustion and bullish momentum coming in, I would also be looking to take a long in these levels. So this level would be an area of interest for a short. Essentially, this is where I would be interested in taking a short right here. See this order block. This is going to be a massive rejection area for Ethereum, which we already are seeing some potential rejection on Ethereum right here. the 15 minutes. So this is going to reject here and then kind of come back into the zone. Hopefully we take support here and continue to trade back up into these zones. So slow and steady wins the race. Ethereum right now is taking the fast route up. Looks like it's something that we might have to take note of once we reach these levels to see whether the market is continuing to stay with a bullish momentum or we start cooling off in these zones and kind of get a retracement back. So we'll see that price show us where it wants to go. But in the meantime, we are absolutely bullish. And overall, I'm just waiting for Ethereum to create some kind of structure out here where we see some potential high formation and small retracement to the downside. So I would place a Fibonacci like this and wait for the price to retrace into these levels right here. There we go. So this would be a key level for me. Let me mark that out. I'm going to make this as my key level. At the same time, we do have a fair value gap sitting. 15-minute fair value is sitting right here in between this Fibonacci golden pocket, which is also there are three confluence zones right here. Let me tell you why this particular price would be a great long for Ethereum. Just hold on, just give me a moment. All right, I am now going to be talking about potential buying opportunities for Ethereum in the short term. So what I have done is I have placed a Fibonacci extension and potential Fibonacci levels are sitting right here. So that's one indicator of a good area for a long opportunity. But let me tell you something. What the chart is now showing me in the 15-minute chart, where Ethereum could be great to buy, would be this zone right here. This is what is known as a balanced price range. And a trade at this level right here, let me place a call out 50%, let's say, or yeah, I would love to place a trade at the 50% level, but to be on the safer side and say we do not get this price and we end up taking support right at the top of this level, let me place a call out right here. $1,611.57. Of course, this is not an exact precise price. The exact price would be 1,611. Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, this could be the exact price that you place a trade at. So let me make that clear for you. This would be the entry. This is where I would place my trade on Ethereum. Entry price. And this would be my stop right here. This price right here, 1,500. Sorry, my apologies. 1,588 would be my stop loss. Sorry for the messy chart. Let me do that again. Place a call out right here. There we go. 1580. 1610. So these are the two prices. This is how I would be looking to take the trade on Ethereum. And I'd be looking to target this high right here immediately, and at the same time I would be looking to target this high. So what we can do is we can this can be our first TP, TP1. This can be TP2, and this can be our TP3. And that in itself is a 6-hour trade. It's going to give a massive move to the upside. So just make sure that you have the patience for Ethereum to come back into these zones. This zone, I would say, would be one of the best zones to purchase Ethereum, to look to move price to the upside. So that's all I'll say for now on the shorter time frame. And of course, the price remains to be seen. If at all Ethereum continues to respect this trend line right here, there's a potential opportunity for Ethereum not to even come back into these prices. That could also be another situation where Ethereum taps into this high of this zone, potential resistance now turned into support, and then we continue to move upwards all the way from here. So if that happens, there's a trade opportunity waiting right here as well. Let the market start showing some bullish momentum. Then on the retest of this, let's place a Fibonacci. Let the market retrace into these zones, into the golden pocket. There we can place a trade right here to target this high, or we can target this block right here, which would give us a 5-hour trade. So these are some potential possibilities on Ethereum. Just to be clear, the price is not always going to do exactly what we predicted to do, right? So let's just always stay in the moment and continue to observe what the market does until and unless we have some good confirmations and good confluence of where the price wants to go. That's the only time we take a trade. So these are just some potential opportunities, but as always, make sure to have the patience to let the price come into some key levels and then take the trade. It's better to not take a trade than take a loss, always. No trade is better than a losing trade, right? So at the moment, we are looking great on Ethereum. Get rid of all of these. It's going to be a key level, so I'm going to keep this price tag on. Awesome. So this is something that I'm looking at for Ethereum. It's going to be some potential key levels and key zones for Ethereum. If you want, you can pause the video and mark these out on your chart. So that's it, folks. That's my breakdown of Ethereum, and we shall see where the price takes us. Awesome. Glad to see Ethereum doing so well after quite a long time. And let me tell you, I've been trading Ethereum ever since the beginning of this year, which was right here at this high. I still remember where we right here. This was the beginning of the year, the end of last year. Potentially what we're looking at on Ethereum is so good to see right now, because I've been trading Ethereum actually even way before, ever since these levels at 4,000, ever since this flush all the way down. I started taking some potential range scalps in here, and then yeah, it's been super choppy ever since then. Look at this massive dump. Ethereum literally has been trading like a meme coin all these weeks to months. It's been quite depressing, actually, to be honest. Even though there have been some good intraday opportunities, Ethereum has been trapping a lot of people. Just look at all this choppy price action right here. Nasty stuff. Whereas Bitcoin has been trading way better. It's been having much cleaner price action all throughout, essentially. Of course, Bitcoin has had its fair share of choppy price action, but it has been relatively way cleaner than Ethereum. I would say way cleaner, at least like 70% cleaner than Ethereum any day. There are like plenty of altcoins that are trading better than Ethereum right now. So it's good to see. That's precisely why I'm saying it's good to see Ethereum kind of find its groove again and start seeing some nice momentum to the upside, and also way cleaner price action. Whether it's to the upside or to the downside, we're going to start seeing some better price action, hopefully on Ethereum. All right, let's see what Bitcoin is doing. I'm going to just take a look at Bitcoin and see what opportunities are available at the moment. At the moment, we do not have any opportunity on Bitcoin. We are still potentially waiting for a confirmation of trend reversal for a potential short opportunity right here. But at the moment, Bitcoin is overextended and exhausted. So let's just remain cautious. Take a look on the 15-minute, we are extremely overbought. So just make sure that we are looking at exhausted Bitcoin price right now and might be looking for a rejection. So that could potentially bring us to two outcomes on Bitcoin, where because of this exhaustion, there'll be many people looking to short the market somewhere, right? So because there'll be so many people looking to short here, there's like a lot of liquidity that'll be resting right above this high. So essentially a lot of stop losses with people who have looking to short at these levels. So what Bitcoin usually does when it has a short squeeze is it'll fake people out by just giving a fake out into this zone and then tapping back up into this trend line and just soaring above these stop losses and squeezing all the short players, start rallying all the way up into this key level of 94,000. We're very close, no doubt. We're very close. Actually, to be really honest, we are also quite close to all-time highs as well. So that's also another thing to be mindful of. But honestly speaking, we are going to get rejected here. It's a very high probability that we're going to get rejected here, come back down with this trend line right here. This trend line is going to be a good support area. Look for some longs as well. Yep, that's what Bitcoin is up to. And I'm not going to be taking any scalps today because Bitcoin has extended itself way too much. And honestly, I'm not looking at any good setup. There's no potential possibility. I mean, there are some possibilities on the lower time frames, but honestly, it's going to start chopping around right now, Bitcoin. And I I'm more comfortable staying out of the market at the moment until it starts showing me some potential structure formation. Then let me see if I have a trade. So I'm just going to take it easy, going to wake up tomorrow and see where the market is at and look for some potential opportunities tomorrow. Great, great. Sounds good. This is Reech, Young Reech Capital, coming to you live. So this entire stream had a lot of information. I've done a top-down analysis of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we're looking bullish. I'm liking the price action. Glad to see this optimism coming back into the market. There's always good price action when there's optimism, and there's always choppy price action when there is pessimism. Essentially, a negative environment brings in a lot more choppiness, and op- an optimist environment brings in a lot of cleaner price action. So, yeah, I will be signing off now, and I will see you tomorrow for the live stream at New York Open, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time. It's a great live stream. This was Young Reach Capital. I will see you all on the next one.